Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed President of Defense Industries, distinguished international and national representatives of the rotorcraft community, esteemed academicians, government officials, representatives of the media. It's a great pleasure and an absolute honor for us to welcome you all to the opening ceremony of the 8th Asian Australian Rotorcraft Forum, the ARF 2019, right here in Ankara, the capital of Turkey. Thank you. Thank you. The Asian Australian Rotorcraft Forum is a well-renowned rotor conference welcoming research papers from all around the world. This year, a total of 11 countries have submitted more than 100 abstracts to be reviewed. Participating institutions include manufacturers, academia, research centers, operators, and regulation agencies. This ARF will be the 8th in a series of forums that have been continuing annually across Asia and Australia, rotating around countries like Korea, Japan, China, Australia, India, Singapore, and now finally this year, here we are in Turkey, in Ankara, the capital of our country, Turkey, on the very first day of the 8th ARF 2019. Before sharing with you the content of today's agenda, I'd like to leave you first with a video, a special video prepared by Turkish Aerospace, the platinum sponsor of our forum. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to share with you the agenda, the content of today. We will first hear the opening speeches by Dr. Kemal Yıllıkçı, the head of the organizing committee, executive vice president of Turkish Aerospace, and head of the helicopter division. And then we will be hearing from Mr. Mike Hirschberg, executive director of the Vertical Flight Society. Then we will have onto the stage Professor Oğuz Borat, the chairman of board of directors at Turkish Aerospace. And finally, we will invite to the floor Professor Dr. İsmail Demir, president of Defense Industries. Distinguished guests, participants, without further ado, now I'd like to invite to the floor our first speaker of the day, Dr. Kemal Yıllıkçı, the head of the organizing committee, the executive vice president of Turkish Aerospace. Thank you, Dr. Yıllıkçı, for your very welcoming speech. Now, ladies and gentlemen, may I invite to the floor Mr. Mike Hirschberg, the executive director of the Vertical Flight Society, for him to deliver his speech. Thank you, Mr. Hirschberg, for this very informative speech and reminiscing with us the past memories that you had here in Turkey with us. Now, may I invite to the floor Professor Oğuz Borat, the chairman of the board of directors, Turkish Aerospace. Thank you, Professor Borat, for this very interesting speech. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'd like to give the floor to our final speaker, Professor İsmail Demir, the president of Turkish Defense Industries. Sir. Many sincere thanks, Professor Demir, for your highly enriching speech, sir. Distinguished participants, we're all thrilled by the recent developments in the rotorcraft technologies, including but not limited to high-speed rotorcraft and unmanned drones. Ladies and gentlemen, now we'd like to invite you all to visit the technical presentations in the rooms numbered from 1 to 5, where we will be informed on the recent technologies and the developments in the sector. To remind ladies and gentlemen, lunch will be served in the open buffet right next room from 12:30 to 1:30. And we look forward to seeing you all here in the main hall after lunch, only to continue with the keynote speeches. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, welcome back after an enjoyable lunch, and we hope that you certainly restored your energy for the other session, which will be focusing on keynote speeches. And here in this session, we will have each distinguished speaker, and they will be kindly updating us with the most recent developments in the rotorcraft industry within their own countries. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to give the floor to our first keynote speaker. May I invite to the floor Dr. Kemal Yıllıkçı, representative of Turkey, Executive Vice President of Turkish Aerospace. Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation and for receiving this gift on behalf of Dr. Zia. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'd like to invite to the floor Mr. Sheikh Bepari Mohammed Haja Muniddin, and he will be making his presentation on behalf of Dinesh Kumar Harur Sampat, who is the representative of India, and he's the assistant professor at Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'd like to invite to the floor Mr. Tomoki Ota, representative of Japan, manager at Subaru, to deliver his presentation on the latest developments in the sector in Japan. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, now we will have to the stage our final speaker. I'd like to now invite to the floor Dr. Sanjun Singh, representative of Korea. He's professor at Seoul National University. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, we'd like to once again sincerely thank all our keynote speakers for having updated us for the most recent developments in their country. And now we will have a 30-minute coffee break, and then we will resume our program with technical sessions, which will continue here in the very main hall and in the technical sessions rooms on the first floor.